Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about multi-unit deals, and specifically the multi-unit deal my brother and I were able to complete earlier in the year. So my younger brother and I came together and we purchased a block of 4 flats up in Yorkshire in January. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about why I chose multi-unit deals as a strategy, how we went about finding the deal, how we went about financing the deal, the buying process as well from start to finish, the return on investment on the property, and what we're going to be looking to do with it going forward as well to make sure that we get all of our money out of the deal. So you don't want to miss this. I came across multi-unit deals by going to networking events. So I was going to quite a few networking events and I met up with more seasoned investors that were actually buying blocks of flats. And they told me about this strategy and how you can actually buy the whole block under a freehold, which means you own all the flats and the land and the building as well. And you could then actually title split these flats, which means is you'll be adding a leasehold onto each flat, and that will enable each flat to have its own intrinsic value. And if you purchase correctly, you can actually buy a block for a lot cheaper than what those individual flats would be worth if you summed it all up together. So I became very intrigued by this strategy. So it wasn't really a strategy that people had spoken to me about or I'd really heard about up until the beginning of last year. As I understood more about the strategy, I then took it upon myself to actually make this my strategy. I liked it because it wasn't reliant on doing any full refurbishments on property. It was more around paperwork. So when you buy the block of flats, at any later point, you can actually look to split the titles, but still get good cash flow because you're renting each flat out. And also there isn't any service charge or ground rent you'd have to pay because, like I say, you are the freeholder. You own the whole block. Last year, I had recently pulled a lot of money out of the property that I live in. I pulled out about £50,000. So with that, and with some savings that I had, I said to myself, do you know what? I'm going to make this happen. And I really wanted a good deal on this. So I had a think and I said, do you know what? This would actually be good to do with somebody else and have someone also financing some part of it and coming together with that individual to make a deal happen. So when I knew I was going to really pursue multi-unit deals as a strategy, I then reached out to my younger brother. So I said to him, do you actually want to come in on this? I'm looking to buy a block of flats. Do you want in? To which he agreed. So my brother and I went out searching. So initially we found a block of flats that we liked in Doncaster. However, 2 mortgage lenders actually refused to lend on it because there were structural issues wrong with it. So we kept searching, and what we were really looking for was block of flats that were near a station and that were priced in a way where if those flats were valued individually, they'd be worth a lot more. And also not having to do too much refurbs on the actual flats. So that's what we're really looking for. And that's when we came across the block of flats in Halifax. So when I actually looked at these flats, I was doing some research around the area and I came to find out that individually, those flats would be worth a lot more than what we pay for it. So just to put it into context, 4 flats, and one was a 1-bedroom flat and it was quite spacious, and then 2 were 2-bedroom flats with en suites in them as well. And then there was a duplex 3-bedroom flat as well, all one block. And it didn't even have any communal area, which meant that we didn't really have to worry about any costs that we'd actually have to incur, because if you do have a communal area, that would usually sit with the landlord. And each flat had its own door and its own access point as well. So initially we actually saw this block of flats up on Rightmove for £300,000. And then when I was looking at those individually, together, collectively, looking at comparables in the area, it was worth more than £500,000. So in my mind, I was like, whoa, this looks a bit too good to be true. So I actually liaised with my mortgage broker and several other seasoned investors as well. And they said to me, look, this looks like a really, really good deal. So my brother and I, we went up to Halifax, viewed the block of flats and made a deal on it. I put in a £340,250 offer. Because for me, I'm not really looking at what the asking price is on Rightmove. I'm looking to see what the end value could be if we implement our strategy. We did that. And then we got the offer accepted. And all these flats were also being rented out as well. So they're all tenanted out. And gross were being rented out for £28,000 every single year. which meant that we'd be able to cash flow positively from day one. We wouldn't have to worry about getting tenants in. So from offer to completion, it took about just under 3 months. And the reason why it didn't take that long was because every single day I was liaising with my solicitor, liaising with the estate agents, liaising with my broker, and making sure everybody was moving at pace. Because I've said it before in previous videos, you want to make sure that you're setting the standard. So that's what I did. And even my brother, making sure that he was getting me documents in, and anything that was needed from him, he was getting it across to the relevant parties as soon as possible. So once we completed, we had a block of 4 flats up in Yorkshire. So let me talk about how we financed the deal. So my brother and I agreed on a 55-45 split. So this means that I put 55% of the funding in, my brother puts in 45%, the rent and the equity and the profits will then proportionally match the money we put into the deal. So my brother will then get 45% of the equity and the profits. Now, cash flow works out to about £1,000 per month net. And that's all cool, that's great, but really, we're interested in to see how much money we'll be able to get out of the deal once we title split it. Just to understand, we're on a 2-year fixed term at the moment. And what we're looking to do is before the end of that term is actually title split. So this will mean working with solicitors and our mortgage broker to actually add a leasehold on each individual flat. Once done, then we believe the individual flats together will be worth about £500,000. Now, I'm supremely confident in this because when we actually looked at the values and what value I had valued those individual flats at in 2009, they had it cumulatively at 489,000. So I don't think we're being too optimistic, especially where the comparables in the area would justify our numbers. So the plan will be once we then have those new leases, then we'll refinance at 75% of the loan value on each individual flat. That will then enable us to pay off the old mortgage and then pull out all the money that we put into the deal. And that will then mean an infinite return on investment because we've pulled out the money that we put into the deal and we're still cash flowing positively as well. Now, I want to also speak about what it's like to work with a family member. So for me, personally, I enjoyed it because my brother is my best friend. So we have a really good relationship and we are able to communicate and get things done pretty efficiently. If there's something I need from him, he's able to get it to me as quickly as he needs to. And if there's something he needs from me, I'm also able to do the same. And also finding the deal as well, we were clear on what we wanted. So we also know this is a long-term investment for us and we will not be looking to sell anytime soon. Now, bear in mind, what we're doing here is creating leaseholds. We're not buying leaseholds, right? So creating leaseholds just means that we'll be adding leaseholds to the block of flats, but we already own the freehold. Now, in my previous video, I've spoken about why I wouldn't be buying a leasehold. So if you haven't watched that, do watch that over here. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, do give it a like. And if you found this video of any value or any other video on this channel, then do subscribe as well. And until next time, happy investing.